New polling has come out suggesting that more and more African Americans are potentially going to be voting for Donald Trump. And when an MSNBC anchor was asked about it, her answer was that they were probably just fooled. Take a look at this video.
I actually think that this is a phenomenon that needs to be better understood. I think that the behavior of Black voters, even in just polls right now, is quite interesting. It's something I'm trying to get at in my reporting. I think the answer is that we don't know everything yet, and we'll certainly find out more in November. You know, my instinct is, first of all, that people forget. I mean, Black voters are just like all voters. They, too, can be susceptible to disinformation campaigns. Black men especially, because there is a divide, by the way, in this polling in behavior between Black men and women and, you know, their interest in Donald Trump. Black men may be attracted to Trumpism more than Black women. That would be consistent with white voters as well. So that's another parallel to look at. I do think that this idea that there's going to be a wave of Black voters voting for Donald Trump is highly unlikely.
So the very first thing that she cites that for the reason why Black Americans would be voting for Donald Trump is disinformation. Look, I'm not saying that conservatives don't say that some liberals vote for Joe Biden because of disinformation, because they do, and I think that everybody's susceptible to it. But also, the left is so full of racist examples like this. It's again, I've said it many times, I'm not the one that coined this phrase, but it is the soft bigotry of low expectations. These people are literally saying the only way they could possibly vote for Donald Trump is if they were fooled, which one is a disservice to them because it's basically saying that the Black Americans are just a monolith and that they just all vote together because they're a hive mind. So that's not cool. It also is completely straw-manning Donald Trump and just saying there's no possible way that someone could vote for him, which, by the way, I don't think anyone should say that about any candidate. You see a lot of conservatives say that about Joe Biden. They definitely shouldn't say that. There's plenty of reasons why someone would vote for Joe Biden. They're not good reasons, but I can understand why with the current media environment and what's happened recently with him being convicted, someone would be like, yeah, you know, Donald Trump's not for me. I'm voting for Joe Biden. I think they're wrong, but I'm just saying I can at least see it. I'm not going to say they're just fooled as a blanket statement. By the way, it's the exact same thing as when Democrats said that in order for us to, if we made IDs required in order to vote, that would disproportionately affect the Black people. It's like, so you're saying that Black people aren't smart enough to get an ID? A lot of people have made really funny memes and videos about it. You should go check those videos out. But it's a soft bigotry. Like, why, because you're Black, can you not go get an ID? And in the same way, why, because you're Black, are you suddenly more susceptible to disinformation? I just don't understand. It's insulting. It actually reminds me of a post on X that I'm going to pull up right now that I saw the other day that's hilarious, about kind of the same sentiment. But basically, there was this news organization, I'll pull it up right here, called The Advocate, who basically the headline of the story, you can see it says, Jeff Landry signs bill allowing surgical castration of some sex offenders. Okay, awesome. I think that's a good thing. This person, just a random person, then tweets out, nobody applaud. They're going to use this to castrate innocent Black and trans people. And you can see I responded at the top. I was like, I'm sorry, what did you just say? What are you saying? You're saying that Black people and trans people are at risk because they're all the sex offenders? You're not doing a good job defending them. That's all I'm saying. Like, that is a weird thing to say out loud. But now, so back to what she said. So apart from what she said about Black people not being able to discern disinformation, what they're talking about is true, which is that Black men especially are going more and more for Donald Trump. And I would predict that more Black people will probably vote for Trump, especially Black men are going to vote for Trump than any other Republican president in the last 10 years. And I don't fully understand why. I think that the main reason is probably that they just look at their everyday lives and they see that it's worse now than it was before. But I think there's a lot of reasons, and I don't know if anybody can pin all of them down. But what is true and what we do know is that this would be absolutely disastrous for Joe Biden. We saw that between 2016 and 2020, the amount of Black Americans who voted for Trump actually doubled. It actually doubled, or close to it. And if the same thing were to happen, like this polling suggests that they were talking about, that could be enough to sink Joe Biden. Because you'll remember, Donald Trump lost by almost 7 million votes in 2020. But when we're talking about the popular vote, but in reality, he lost by 40, 50,000 votes in the key swing states, many of which have a lot of Black Americans. And so if Black men show up for Trump, I don't know if Black women will, but I think if Black men swing, 5, 10% to Trump, that really could make all the difference. One of the big ironies of the Joe Biden campaign is that he's been pandering to minorities. It's what a lot of Democrats have done. Sometimes it works out, like in Obama's case. Sometimes it doesn't, like in Hillary Clinton's case. But Joe Biden is opting to do it. Again, it's not original. Democrats have been doing it for a long time. But the irony of it is, if you look at the polling, minorities have swung way more to Trump in 2024 than where he was at in 2016. And more in 2020. It's only gone up. And so ironically, minorities, especially Black men and Hispanics, may be the reason why Joe Biden loses and Donald Trump wins. You'll notice that the states that Donald Trump is doing very well in, like Arizona, Nevada, Georgia, states that he's lost in the past. Those states, Georgia, huge African American population. Arizona, Nevada, massive Hispanic population. Look at the swing states that are just a little bit closer. Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, not as many minorities there. Still minorities, but compared to, Arizona, Nevada, huge Hispanic base. Georgia, if you've ever been to Atlanta, there's a lot of African Americans there. So you can see it in the polling. And I think it really could make a difference. It's the ironic thing. It's one reason why, as a conservative, I've really cautioned other conservatives against attacking minorities and certain immigration. Again, I'm not okay with illegal immigration. But ironically, Hispanics and Black Americans, especially Africans who are immigrating here, are far more conservative than they are progressive. And so if conservatives can get good messaging down, there's a really good shot that they could completely turn that vote over the course of a decade or 2 more decades. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Please go down below, comment, like, and subscribe, and watch another video.